If you feel constantly drained in your life or somehow stuck in your business or also your personal life, what might be going on is that you have energy leaks, energetic leaks. And I'm going to explain what this looks like, how they or what they can be, and obviously also what you can do to change that. So stay tuned. But first things first, my name is Lydia Willemsen. I'm a mindset and high performance coach. And here on my channel, I talk about all things high achiever, all things conscious creation, manifestation, business growth, personal development. And yeah, as I said, today's topic is energy leaks. And if you want to work with me, go to the description or also the pinned comments or the one pinned comment. You will see either the Mind Mastery community, which is the most amazing way to work with me right now because it's low investment, very low investment, but high output. A group of other manifestors, other conscious creators, high achievers in there who do the work together. Powerful courses about trauma release, EMDR, eye movement, desensitization, reprocessing. Really, really powerful. So you can join that. We actually have our call once per week. Our coaching call is today, 5 p.m. CET. So in about 5 hours. So if you want to join today's call, jump in right now. And you can stay for a month or forever. It's on a monthly basis, basically. And if you want more in-depth work with me, you can obviously book my one-to-one, and you find also all the information in the comment or description. Okay, so let's get started. What you might be feeling in your life is that you're just energetically depleted and you don't know why, because you're doing all the nice things, you're having the workouts, the good food and all of that. So actually there is no reason to be energetically depleted. You're getting your sleep in, all of that. But still, as I said, you feel exhausted and or you feel stuck in your personal life and in your business. What is happening are energetic leaks. So every time you open or you have a new idea, but you don't bring it to fruition, it is still an open tap in your mind. Every time you have a friendship or you hold onto a friendship that is not aligned anymore, you're leaking energy into that person. Every time you're having a conversation with a potential client and then you don't close that container, so they don't sign up, but it fizzles out, no one responds anymore. That is like you're leaving or you're leaking energy to that person still. Every time you overgive to your clients, you constantly overgive and you basically hold all the energy for their success, but they are not putting in the work. You're leaking energy to them. Every time you're people pleasing, you're saying yes, but you mean no. You are leaking freaking energy. Or every time there are people who can't commit to yes or no, and you're making the game with them, you're playing that game with them, you are leaking energy. Or if you want to decide something, but you're not deciding, you are being in this yes, no, yes, no, yes, no every day. And instead of even making a wrong decision, so to say, you're leaking more energy through not making the decision than through making the potentially wrong decision, even though a wrong decision doesn't exist. But this is not today's topic. So those are all things where you leak energy. And the thing here is, what most people think like, yeah, okay, but I'm waiting for the response from them. Like, or they have to apologize, or they have to sign up. They have the link, they could sign up now. Every time you're putting it on them, again, you're giving your power away. You are leaking your energy to them and they are feeding off that. It's not necessarily because they are bad people. It's just free energy for them and it's less energy for you. And you have to understand that you do not have to wait for their permission to close those energy or energetic loops. You do not have to wait for their permission. You do not have to wait for any reaction from them. You can do this in yourself, with yourself. And of course, you can send a message and you can say like, hey, this is done now. And you don't have to wait for a reply, but it's happening inside of you. This is what you have to understand. But the first step here is to understand that you're leaking your energy out. This is the first step, and most people are not aware of that. They are just living their life, doing their things, being constantly drained and exhausted and have no freaking clue why. And this is one of the big reasons. And it's not strategy. It's not, like things to do per se. You really have to understand that this happens on a different level. This is really energy work we're doing here. You're leaking your life energy to other people in those moments. So for all those examples I gave you, how do you close those energy leaks? As I said, first step is to recognize them. So you can put it into the comments, what is the main energy leak in your life at the moment? How are you energetically leaking at the moment? So share it with me to really do the first step of like, oh, I recognized it. So put it in the comments. And by the way, if you like if you like my content, please subscribe, share, like, and leave a comment. It really helps the channel to grow, and there is so much more I have to tell the people out there that they are not aware of, so that would be highly appreciated from my side. And of course, only if you like the content. That is obviously clear. Okay, so first step, recognize it. If you want, put it here in the comments and share with us. Also for you as almost like a commitment of like, okay, I did the first step. And then the next step is to energetically close it. And this could be depending on what it is. So for me, I ended a 20-year friendship. It was not aligned anymore. There was a lot of attack going on. There was a lot of boundaries that were massively violated. And in the beginning, I just kept going. I was open. I understood the pain of the other person. I understood that they were hurt and they put their hurt on me. So there was a lot of energy leaking from me in the beginning. I didn't look at what it did to me. I still had this thought, oh my God, I have to help the other person. I understand what's happening. And that's nice. You're a kind person. It makes sense. And at the same time, at some point, you have to understand that this, like if the other person doesn't want to be helped in that moment, that's okay. And it's your choice to cut ties. It's your choice to say, okay, then I use my energy for things where I can have real impact. You don't have to splatter or scatter your energy around where it doesn't really serve anyone very much, because she wouldn't use the energy that she got from me to really work on her things, So it was basically then used to attack me back. So this energy was not, in my world, or in my opinion, of any good. So of course I had to stop that game at some point, or that, it's a power game. I had to stop it, and I had to not be available for that anymore. And I had to cut ties I had to do it for myself. Because of course we can change any relationship in our life. So we can also change our friendships. However, I decided that this friendship was not worth it for me to do this work. I use my energy and I use my inner work for those aligned friendships, relationships where I really want a change, or where it's very important to me. Of course I would have liked a change. I would have liked a different outcome. However, it wasn't important enough for me. So I didn't change that. I didn't go there, because you would say hey, if you're manifesting, you can change anything. Of course I can. However, it wasn't important enough for me, and I decided no more. We are closing that leak now. So I basically ended that friendship, closed it, sent a final message, and that was it. And now there is no going back. This leak is closed. And you can block communication, whatever it is, whatever comes from the other side. And I left a message where I explained things, where I said this is not acceptable and so on. And then I was done and I closed that. So now I don't have to think about this every day anymore. I don't think about it. I think about it now because I'm using it for the purpose of giving you examples, So the work was mine. I didn't wait for a response from the other side anymore. No, I closed that. Done. Then I have other examples, for example, from my clients, but I also remember that in the beginning, or I still do that. If you have in your business potential clients reaching out to you, and then they're like, yeah, I might do that. I'll tell you tomorrow or in a week or whatever, my decision, and then you never hear back from them. It's a very common example for people. And you have to understand, what most people do now is they wait. energy is leaking to that potential client. That potential client is still getting energy from you until you close that container. And what I usually do is I send a message and say, like, are you still interested? Yes, no, like, of course, send it in a friendly way. Otherwise, I'm going to close this container here now. Like, I send an explanation that I'm closing contact now. And for example, I also don't offer sales calls per se. I only offer calls when I already had an exchange with someone and they really want to see me in person, because working with me one-to-one is a 5-figure investment. So I understand that people want to see me in person, not just the voice notes. They want to interact with me, not in an asynchronous way of like voice notes, but like in a one-to-one setting, you know? So of course I do that. And if then a person doesn't respond anymore, and that doesn't happen, no, and if I now offer that call to someone, I offered that recently to someone who wasn't even inquiring necessarily about my one-to-one. I just did it for whatever reason. That was already an energy leak. And then that person didn't follow up and so on. And then at some point I said, okay, I'm closing that container. This call, like book this call until the end of the week. Otherwise the call is off the table, you know? There is just no one-to-one call anymore. And this is for me to create my boundaries again, to close my energy off to that person or to behavior like that. It's not just to that person, it's also behavior like that. This is not part of my reality, so I'm saying no to that, to say yes to aligned contacts, to aligned messages, so to say. And then I can breathe again. For me, it's clear that has been cut off. I have said what I needed to say. Call was booked or not, it is done. It's energetically sealed. It's energetically closed. And I have a lot of clients who are waiting and waiting and waiting for people to respond. And then I tell them, yeah, you're keeping your energy open for those people. So send them a message and really close that. And it's not about getting a response from that person. It's really coming from you. It's really for you to close that leak, to close it from your side. Even if you never heard from that person again, you said everything in the message. And you said everything in your energy. That is the most important. It's not even the words you're using. It is saying it with your energy. It's saying, okay, you have 2 more days. If I don't hear from you, then this is done. Then we are closing that. And if it's another topic, for example, you have to make a decision and you're not sure about yes or no, understand that not making a decision is costing you more energy than supposedly making a wrong decision. In the end, there are no wrong decisions, because they always bring you to the next step and the next evolution and the next growth in your life. And when we come from a manifestation and conscious creation perspective, we can even revise things. We can change things or turn things around. So even if you said no to something now and you think it's done forever, no, it is. It isn't. It can. Reality can unfold in miraculous ways and bring this opportunity back to you in a very different way. Even people who are then living on different continents have no contact details anymore, nothing. They get back in contact to really random unfoldings. So you can delete contacts, you can get rid of anything. If it's meant to be from your own decision, at some point you will be able to recreate that contact. So you never have to fear to make a wrong decision, or if you decide I'm not going there, I go here, anything can be changed. So never fear a wrong decision. You'd rather fear, but of course don't fear not making a decision if you're constantly thinking about that and leaking your energy to that. And then a big one is unspoken resentment. This is the friendship topic again, but also other, connections with people where you feel you're giving, and you're not receiving back. You are leaking your energy. You are losing your life force. You're losing your life energy. You have to close that. Not you have to close that because I'm telling you that. You have to close that if you want to reclaim that energy, if you want that energy back for your own life and your own business and your own family. So stop leaking that energy through people pleasing to other people. Stop doing that and reclaim it for yourself, And what else did I say? Also people who are 1 foot in, 1 foot out. At some point, create a boundary and say either you're in or out. Now is the time to make a decision. I'm not available for that game anymore. As I said, it's a kind of power game. Don't make yourself available also for the undecisiveness of other people. Cut this out. Hopala. Cut this out. Cut this energy leak from your life. And you don't have to be mean with it. It's really the understanding, this is my life force that I'm giving to misaligned choices and misaligned people in that moment. And misaligned versions of those people, because if those people are important to you, you can manifest a different version of them. So of course that is possible. So I shouldn't say, or it's not the correct way in my world to say misaligned people. I would say misaligned versions of those people. What I also mentioned, especially for high achievers, especially for people who are caring and kind, the energetic over responsibility is a big one. You want the win for your client. You're almost doing the work for your client. You're pulling them up constantly. This is depleting you. At some point, your client needs to rise up. Your client needs to rise up. So you hold the energy up there. You see them as that version already. So if they are sitting there, you're not going into the dump with them. You're not going down there with them. You're staying up here. You're keeping your energy up here. And you're pulling them up, or you're letting them pull themselves up. You're letting them rise to you instead of constantly going down and like, oh, come up, come up. No, that's not your work in client sessions or client settings. So over-responsibility has to go. This is a big leak for many people, especially very sensitive, kind, high achievers who always were there for everyone, who did the work, who were the strong ones for everyone. So cut this down. And it doesn't mean that you need to be unkind. It means, again, that you have to see those people in a different light. You have to see those clients in a light of they can rise. They are powerful. I don't have to do the work for them. I can show them and guide them and show them what the work is that they can do, but I don't have to do the work for them, because then they will never be able to do it by themselves. They will constantly need me to pull them up, and not necessarily need me, but it's very comfortable. It's very comfortable for them. And it's not where the real growth lies. So over-responsibility is a big energy leak as well. Those are the main ones today. One last one, overthinking and like constantly scrolling and checking your outside reality. Many people live more in their outside reality and checking for evidence, checking for stimulation, than basically living in their inner reality and really creating the reality that they desire and taking their energy from there, from the desired reality. They always go back to the old way of being, to the old way to their old identity, to overthinking, but overthinking the 3D, overthinking their physical reality, instead of saying, it doesn't even matter what's happening out there. I'm going back in here. I'm creating my reality from inside out. So I actually don't have to keep checking my outside reality. I don't have to live there in my mind. I live in my mind internally, in my desired reality, versus overthinking the things that are happening, which is all just my past thoughts and my past programming. So a big one that needs to go as well. So for you, it's making the decision, or it's understanding what are my energy leaks, and then it's the energetic decision. I'm cutting this off and really deciding this for you and making this energetically. You even can do some cord cutting. So that means you imagine a big cord to you and that person, or to you and that behavior, or whatever it is that you want to cut out. You can have this in whatever color, from whatever part of your body, like it can look whatever, and then you can take a big scissors or some like a big knife or something like that in your mind, of course, imaginary, and cut this through and like create distance in between the two of you, and like almost cleanse yourself from that energy. Like really, it's an internal process. It's an energetic process. And you can do whatever else, like energetically, spiritually, that helps you for this cord cutting process. It can be as little as 10 seconds. You can also make a whole meditation out of that, of like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want. It's the energetic decision. It's the energetic act, so to say. And then if you want to, you can also have a physical action, meaning sending that message to that person, sending that message to that potential client. It's not necessarily necessary. For most people, it really helps them to put this energetic work into material physical action. It's almost like a further embodiment of that. So I really like that. It's almost like a ritual. And then the last part is to really say that's enough. I'm not doing this to get a reaction from that person. I'm not doing this to get an apology from that person or a yes or a no. The closure happens through me. The closure happens through my energetic action and the physical action, and not through what is coming from the other side. That's none of your business, and it's really not interesting. Like, once you have done this properly, you don't give a shit anymore. It really doesn't interest you anymore. You can actually see if you have done it properly, energetically, the cord cutting or the solving the leak or getting rid of the energetic leak, if you don't even care anymore, if there is a response from the other person. If the person signs up, if the person responds, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because you have closed the energy from your side. You have closed the boundary, or you have created that boundary. And then you're back in your energy, and you can feel all the energy coming back to you, and all the energy being there for you to be used for whatever else, for aligned friendships, for aligned relationships, for aligned potential clients. So all this energy, like you will feel a surge in energy of like, wow, there's a lot of energy coming back that you finally have back in your own control, in your own power to use. So it's really, really powerful. Let me know in the comments what energetic leaks you're going to close after watching this video. Also your aha moments or anything else, further questions. And thank you again for watching, for liking, subscribing, commenting, all of that. And until the next video.